Of course, I have been keeping up on the current meta of ZZVZT. I mean, let's be real here, who doesn't? And I assume the action will be fast and furious, so we better start with some intros. Our pro Zerg player in blue is the city that's exactly a mile high. He is Denver! His Zerg partner in purple is not so lame, he's Laemso! Their opponents in the red on the south side, because one Q is never enough, is QQQ! And his partner breaking all trends by playing a Terran in blue is Masa! All three Zerg players already taking their backdoor expansions. QQQ slightly in the lead on that. Now, you would be forgiven if you thought that Masa was the Korean-Canadian pro player. But it's not the same guy. This guy spells his name differently, and the real Masa is retired. I assume this Masa is a fan, which means I like him already. Team South, the Terran Zerg mix, has scouted. Team North, the all-Zerg team, has not. All three Zergs are getting their pools. Masa has his racks. One thing that gets me jacked about this game is that a lot of people accuse 2v2 of being broken because of the Phoenix. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't have to worry about it, because our game tonight is Protosian Challenge. We are loaded up on Z with just a T on top. And speaking of our Terran player, Masa's getting a quick factory. Oh, an early Evo for Laemso. That's going to differentiate him from the other Zergs. Man, in a ZZVZT, I would be so tempted to go for a Spinecrawler rush. I wonder if we'll see one. All three Zerg expansions are popping. No sign of an expansion for Terran. He is getting that orbital command, though. Somehow Denver, our ranked pro, is already 5 supply ahead. Oh, don't read into it. As soon as I say it, QQQ catches right up. By the way, that's a little awkward for me to say, so I think I'm going to nickname him Q-Cube. Sort of like Q to the power of 3. I mean, who doesn't love a math joke? Alright, Lings are now in production. Denver's getting Ling speed. Masa's going for Hellion production. I think that is such a good idea. Massling is so common in 2v2. Q-Cube and Masa's scouts are not in a great position here. They can't see the Lings, but the Lings see them. They pounce. Is that going to earn Denver first blood? Yes, it is. Oh, I see, but Denver's thinking because it's a 2v2, he's got to get the first blood against both of his opponents. He's hunting down that SCV. Q-Cube is getting Ling speed as well, by the way. Laemso, not so much. +1 attack, actually. That's unusual. He's mixing it up. I can dig it. It's got a beat. I can dance to it. Oh, Masa's second factory's picking up a tech lab. I think we know what's happening here. Infernal Pre-Igniter, aka Blue Flame, on the way. Look at this, Denver slipping right into Q-Cube's natural. Oh, but Q-Cube slams the gate on that. Queen's gonna clean this up at the back door natural. And the Lings are gonna get the clean up at the main. Laemso adding 8 Lings and getting a Roach warrant. But it's Masa who captures our attention with his triple Hellion production. Team North is going all Lings, and that Blue Flame could really do damage. Q-Cube is also pumping Lings for Team South. And having weathered Denver's early attack, he's looking to counter. It's always so weird seeing Lings side by side with Hellions. The Hellions look like they should be shooting. Ling speed is done for both Denver and Q-Cube at this point. Denver's third's about to pop right as he's about to get attacked. Team South slips up the first ramp, and they go right at the exposed hatch. Denver pulls back his queens, the Lings are on him. And 7 Hellions slip into Laemso's main. There's only a single queen to defend. Where is the drone pull? We need a drone pull. Oh, I'd settle for a drone push. Laemso does bring back his Lings to defend, but this is right when Blue Flame is gonna finish. I'm expecting a dramatic color change any moment. There it is. The queen is the first to die from it. And the main gets cleaned out. Roaches are very good against Hellions, but there's just one. And now Laemso's natural is exposed. Denver showing no sign of coming to his ally's aid. He may have written Laemso off as a lost cause, but the damage to Laemso is incalculable. Actually, it is calculable. The purple Zerg is left with a supply of 1. Denver's looking to turn this around with some Banelings. He started his lair tech. Masa's still pumping Hellions, but he's also getting an armory. I think somebody's thinking Hellbats. You think QQ's Lings would have to worry about friendly fire. But despite how it looks, the Hellion Flamethrower does not hit allied units. It's selectively careful flame. But try telling that to Denver's poor queen. Denver's not just defending there, he's also countering. He's actually cleaning out QQ's natural. Denver might just barely hold this 2-on-1 attack. And if he does, his lair's gonna complete. It has. He's adding a spine for defense. That is so much approved by me. That's what Denver's wanted his whole life. A thumbs up from Zugzwang. Well, he can cross that off his bucket list. Oh, QQ is not gonna let Laemso recover. How dare you get your drone count up to 6. QQ has started a spire. Denver, though, has a 20 supply lead over both his opponents. I feel like Laemso brought a Denver to the knife fight. I'd be like, yeah, you may have annihilated all my units, but my partner's Denver. Masa's gonna take his backdoor expansion. He should be worried that those Hellions are gonna go obsolete on him. Team South is not gonna let up on Laemso. They want to knock him out so they don't have to worry about him. That way they can 2v1 on Denver. Oh, it's Hellbat time. The no friendly fire thing gets even sillier because now those Hellbats are just waving their flamethrowers around. Do you know how much training the average Hellbat gets before the Dominion puts it in the field? Not a lot. Denver finding purchase at QQ's 3rd. There's no defense there, only sweet, sweet drones. Laemso has lost the hatch at his main. And his extractors, but hey, who's counting? Maybe you don't need a hatch if your partner's Denver. QQ trying to clean up those Lings. His spire's just about done. Denver's making one as well, but it is well behind. Masa's got his eBay going, but he's still making Hellions. He needs to start thinking about transitioning out from those. The Banelings should be able to hold them off long enough for Denver to get his mutas. But it is QQ, Masa's partner, who's gonna have the mutas first. Denver's actually starting a 4th base. He's doing this while being under siege. That is confidence and poise. He makes a huge round of 24 Zerglings while he waits for his spire to complete. QQ tries to rehabilitate his damaged 3rd base. He's adding a spine crawler. He's been hit there hard at least twice already. Oh, QQ making his daily visit to poor Laemso. This time he's streaming into the natural after Laemso managed to get back above 10 supply. He cuts down his one and only queen, hollows out his drones, and now he's gonna go after his final hatch. Laemso hits a supply of 0. He still has the larva and the money to make drones though. He even has enough to build a hatch. Denver just with no interest in helping Laemso. He's just trying to make sure he returns the favor by shutting down QQ. Denver's also making queens, by the way. Oh, Laemso's now being revealed. I wonder what's being revealed. The poor dietary habits? That he cheated on his spelling exam in grade 4? Oh, and as predicted, those mutas just ate those Hellbats. Masa's supply takes a big hit. He's now repurposing his double factories to produce Widow Mines. That's a good call. I mean, not even Denver can dodge Widow Mines. 5 minutes later, Denver dodges 7 Widow Mines at once! Laemso did not turn his last larva into drones, and now he has no creep left, so his buildings are bleeding out. Drilling Claws update for Masa. Infestation pit for QQ. I like Masa's transition. Denver's mutas clean out QQ's 3rd and he moves to the main. Oh, that spore really needs to finish. That spore needs to finish. Denver sees it. He's trying to put it down, but QQ is intercepting. No, Denver gets it. And now he can use his superior muta numbers to annihilate QQ's flock. He wanted to retreat to his other spore crawler, but he went the wrong way. QQ's queen, however, is smarter. Oh! Big time double Widow Mine hit. Denver's remaining flock all in the red. And QQ uses the moment to counter with his Lings. He's bringing down all the spine crawlers. I'm so torn here. I don't know what's going to be more amazing. If Denver brings down 2 players at once, or if 2 ordinary Joes can take down a pro. I feel like I'm cheering for everybody. Denver, though, now has more supply than both his opponents combined. Masa's trying to get his Widow Mines out there to see what he can do about that. QQ's poor third base is about to be hit for the 7th time. The Widowmines wasted their shots on Lings. They wanted the Mutaflock, but Denver knew just how to play it. He runs his Lings in a half second ahead. Another Widowmine at the main, though, forces the Mutas to fall back. Unfortunately, their fallback position happens to be QQ's third. That's gonna fall. Oh, can these Widowmines get planted in time? They've been discovered. Oh, they make it down. Denver's so smart, he runs his Lings in to trigger them. He needs detection, though. My kingdom for an Overseer. Masa's supply capped right now. He's hoping his third command center will take care of that for him. Denver now has that Overseer. Masa working on a biotransition. He's started up Stim. Denver started up Overlord Speed. He wants to transform his Overseer into the ultimate Mine Hunter. That sounds like a cool show. Stay tuned for the next episode of Ultimate Mine Hunter, where the players detect, or they die. Man, I wish I had a voice like the movie trailer guy. Oh, miscalculation, another hit. Denver's trying to time that last mine. He gets it. That is so hard to do without getting blown to bits. Such as this. Denver gets too far ahead of his Overseer. He loses a huge chunk of his flock. Does that cost him the game? Team South has the greater supply now. QQ is making Vipers. I don't watch enough ZVZ to know how that's gonna work, but I gather the idea is Parasitic Bomb. Force the Mutaflock to separate or die. Masa has been quietly getting his Marine Force together. Denver just about to complete his 5th. QQ is on it though. Remember, he's limited by the fact that he's stuck on 2 bases. Once Denver has his 5th, he'll actually have more bases than both his opponents combined. Masa with the SCV pulled to retreat from those Zerglings. Laemso be like, hold it, nobody told me that was allowed. QQ is trying to remake his 3rd and Masa's supporting him by putting down those Widowmines. Good teamwork here. They will definitely need to be greater than the sum of their parts to take down Denver, who is picking up roach speed, by the way. He might be looking at some kind of transition. Between the Widowmines and the Vipers, the world is getting pretty unsafe for that Mutaflock. QQ defending his main. Who's got the bigger flock here? It's Denver. QQ's supply just plummets. The Vipers shoot off their parasitic bombs, but then they run out of energy. They didn't get that chance to fuel up with a good breakfast. Remember, extractors are an important part of every meal. Denver decides that QQ has violated the no third base allowed policy. Oh, the kiting by the Mutas is just terrific. It takes a huge pack of Marines just to fend them off. QQ going for a 4th and 5th base. I think he's figured out he's not going to be able to keep that 3rd. It's almost like a punching bag decoy at this point. I think Masa needs to get himself some Thors if he can. Marines can be very efficient against Mutas, but they gotta be maneuvered correctly, and I just don't see Denver allowing that to happen. Denver making a 2nd Baneling nest. I imagine he probably wants one for each of his opponents. Oh, his Mutas are doing a tour of the Terran base. That's gonna be a problem. The Vipers are trying to follow with the parasitic bombs, but Denver just turns on a dime. Dude, it's not cool to ostracize your friends like that. I mean, sure, he's yellow and unattractive, but he's still part of the flock. What's a little radiation amongst friends? So QQ is really hurting at this point. It's really Masa who's got to hold this together for the next few minutes. QQ does have that triple expand going, and if that actually pulls off, he'll get right back in this. Oh, Denver makes 21 Banelings, and he starts up Baneling speed. Oh, Denver just wipes out all of those damaged Hellions at once. They were pretty obsolete though. But here comes Denver's Roach transition. It's kind of masking the even scarier Baneling transition behind it. Team South is trying to get a push together, but Denver's gonna crush it. Oh, here come the Banelings. Denver doesn't even try to prioritize what he's hitting. He's got a Baneling for everybody. At this point, Denver's outmining both his opponents combined. That's true of minerals and gas. I think some kind of Goliath cliche comment is warranted here. Denver hits his favorite target, QQ's 3rd. He shatters it once again. QQ is actually droning up nicely at his other hidden expansions. He just needs to get himself an army. Oh, Denver's actually making an Ultralisk cavern. An Ultralisk should be a nice accompaniment to his 40 Zerglings that he's making. Oh, that 3rd base is absolutely critical for Masa. His other bases are largely mined out. That's big. It's going to be very hard for the Terran to recover from that. Team South has one player with no income, one player with no army. Denver's got both. He's actually working towards maxing out. And now he's on top of Masa's production line. Masa was working hard to try to produce some anti-roach units. But they're all going to die as soon as they come out of the production facilities. Assuming the production facilities last long enough to actually produce said units. Oh yeah, Masa's just getting hollowed out here. Hopefully he's just buying QQ a little bit of time. Denver maxes out building ultras. QQ's cavalry's gonna come, but it's gonna be too late. I love the tenacity from Masa. He's trying to rebuild his production lines and his backdoor expansion. And his reward is gonna be to watch his main base fall. QQ has chased off the mutas, but the Lings are doing the damage. An emergency liftoff by Masa's command center. QQ has achieved air superiority. He has a chance to go at Denver's units here. He even managed to supply block Denver for a half a second. Denver is using the empty supply to go for corruptors. I really like that. That's going to let him win back the air. 17 corruptors. And then for the ground war, there's always those ultras. They've been known to be useful on occasion. Masa has money, but he stopped producing. He has no SCVs left. He's been SCV killed. He needs to find somewhere for that command center to land. Only then can he rebuild new Mazaland. Those mutas are like, yeah, we can kill ultras, but I don't think they appreciate they're just being dragged towards the corruptors. At least I think that's what Denver's doing here. Oh yeah. So it's not like mutas are terrible against corruptors. A big muta cloud can rip into anything. But Denver's Air Force now has a lot of advantages. Least of all, a ton of hit points. But it looks like what Denver's priority is to try to shut down those Vipers. He's gonna get one. Look at this, Corruptors out-kiting Mutas. You don't see that every day. But Corruptors have a range of 6, Mutas a range of 3. The reason it doesn't work so well is that the Mutas are faster. So they just close that gap. But Denver is making it work. Though he's kind of cheating, he's just making an obscene number of Corruptors. Masa has landed and he is rebuilding. But it's gonna be too late. QQ leaves the game. Denver and friend win the game. A fascinating 2v1. I kid. Congratulations to Laemso as well. He got double teamed early. It happens to the best of us. It happens all the time in 2v2. That's the name of the game. Take one player out quick. Normally it's an instant victory, but it doesn't quite work when the remaining player is a pro. And not just any pro. Denver's a top 50 player. And this gives me the perfect segue to talk about something I've been meaning to get off my chest for a while. And that is the something known as the pro curve. It's kind of hard to appreciate how much better a pro player actually is over a normal Joe until it's staring you in the face. When you watch someone play good Starcraft, they look amazing, but that's only because you don't have a basis for comparison. This is a phenomenon that's often discussed in pro sports, especially basketball. Coaches, parents, and fans think the local high school kid who beats everybody is good, because he kind of is. But in actual fact, compared to an NBA pro, he's nothing. You just can't tell until you watch them play against each other. They both look equally good, punkin' noobs. And of course, pros don't normally go off and clobber random high school kids. So to prove this, there was some work done in which they took a pro player named Brian Scalabrine. Now, Scalabrine in NBA terms is the bare minimum. He washes out after a couple of years, he puts up minimal points, and you'd be forgiven if you've never heard of the guy. Can't even tell you what teams he played for, and neither could all but the most diehard of fans. Now, Scalabrine is now at the age of 40, and he can destroy all of the next best high school wannabes in the prime of their careers. I'm talking about people who have stands full of screaming fans. And even though Scalabrine is retired, he still destroys professional basketball players playing abroad in Europe and Asia. That's the difference of that elite level. We just have no perception of how good actually is until we see it at that elite level. Now, this here is a bell curve, and although there's no data to prove this, we can assume that Starcraft is like most other sports and games in which humans fall neatly on the bell curve, such that most of us are average, and only that elite 1% makes it to the big leagues, and they are far and few and in between. Denver is a dot on the far right of this graph. Here he beats two high-level players at the same freaking time. They might have looked bad because they got trashed, but if we cast them going 1v1 against each other, their mechanics were so solid they might fool us that they're pros. Now, here's the crazy part. Denver recently got thumped by Clem, like badly. Clem controlled him the entire game. You can watch it here. My point is not that Denver is bad, because he's certainly not, but you can see how that curve continues to slide to the rare and rare and rare, so much so that by the time you get to a guy like Clem, you are looking at a unique superhuman mutant. Clem is so good, I'm talking about him in a 2v2 game he doesn't even play in. And in interviews, when other pros talk about Clem, they seem to talk in hushed tones, and they usually seem to talk about how incredibly smart he is, not how fast he is or how he's got the meta figured out, just how big a genius he is. Now, when I watch Clem's games, I don't see anything unusually brainy about his play. It's not like I see something creative like I would with Haz or White Raw or early TLO or say even a guy like Zest who's constantly slamming the meta. All I see is that Clem's game is just perfectly on point. And what that probably means is I'm not far enough along the curve to really appreciate the full extent of what Clem is doing. Hey, look, I managed to make this about me. Cool. Seriously though, what I'm really trying to say is this game continues to transact on so many levels we don't always take it in. In this analogy, Denver is Scalabrini. Regular folks don't get how truly great and one-of-a-kind he is until you see him smacking regular Joes with elite skills upside the head. That's it. That's all. If you enjoyed this game, please consider subscribing and help keep the channel going. I really appreciate it. So let me just say from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.